Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Allgood. Welcome to another edition of Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com. Tony Chapman joins us again from Grand Island tonight. Our seasons continue in the fall sports. Teams become more defined. They begin to align themselves for postseason pushes. Tony, it's a beautiful time of the year. The crispness of the leaves outside. We have officially hit fall, and we're ready for that stretch run.
We are. It's like deja vu all over again, right, Eric? We have district football starting to come into play now, starting this Friday for some of the smaller classes. And volleyball is in full swing. Cross country is in full swing. And actually softball and cross country are almost in the back half of their seasons now. So we got a full show lined up. I won't talk very much. Send it back over to you so we can get doing this thing.
Yeah, the show should be fun, very fun tonight. We always love interacting with the social media aspect of our show as well. The Dickey's Barbecue in York social media feed, you can use the hashtag Prep Huddle Live, just like you see in the widget right below the screen here on StriveSports.com. And if you have a comment or question during the show, it will show up there and we will get to it throughout the show as well. Speaking of the show, tonight is a big one. Burke Brown with NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com is back again, bringing us a wealth of volleyball knowledge. Always appreciate his comments. We will revisit perhaps even some of the rapid-fire questions that we asked Burke in the preseason, might even turn back into what we talk about at the midseason point, if you will. We will also talk with Grand Island Northwest football coach Kevin Stein about his team's 3-1 start and also how they row the boat. You will want to stick around for that. We are also going to head down to the six-man ranks of high school football in Nebraska, where the second-ranked St. Edward Beavers are ready to host Riverside on Friday, and we will talk with the head coach of St. Ed, Jeremy Jones. And then, of course, we will wrap it up with the Strive 5 games to check out on the respective Strive channels. And, oh, by the way, a very special social media contest that we ran this not even a full week, about 3 days worth, and we will talk about that coming up towards the end of the show. First, though, let's get to our first guest of the night, our esteemed colleague, Burke Brown of NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com. Burke, thanks a lot for taking some time out on a Wednesday night for us.
No, my pleasure. You're definitely overselling my qualifications, though.
Well, we do what we can, right? Burke has also, for those of you that follow along on Twitter, especially as our show gets ready to go, we start pushing out some tweets. Burke also came up with his own tweeting, and the hashtag Prep Huddle Live tonight has a little different meaning. Burke, would you like to explain what you're doing with your website?
Yeah, no, I would. I'm a huge fan of what you guys do, and I think it's great for high school sports. And so I want to try and direct, I guess, my followers, my Twitter peep, to be involved. And if they want to tweet a question at us, use that hashtag PrepHuddleLive. Hopefully, we get a chance to get to that question. But I've got 3 free T-shirts that I'll send out to those first 3 people who are able to get questions off to us that way. You know, I mean, my oldest daughter just left for college, so she's not wearing them anymore. No, I'm joking. They're brand new, so trust me.
They're brand new right out of the wash, right?
Right. Sure. Yeah, they are. Sure. So no, and I think it's, like I said, it's a great thing what you guys are doing here. For high school sports is great, and so anything I can do to kind of help foster some interaction, that would be wonderful. So we'd love to give away some T-shirts tonight.
Hashtag is Prep Huddle Live. That's where you want to tweet at us tonight. So Burke, let's get started with some of your comments. I'm curious to see where you stand on some of this stuff. We've been treated to some outstanding matches so far this year, especially last night. It seemed for a Tuesday was jam-packed with some really good games. But over the last couple weeks, what are some of the teams and maybe some of the individual matches that have stood out to you so far this year?
Just right off the top of my head, and I think, Tony, feel free to chime in because I think you were there the other night. I tell you what, Columbus is making some noise in Class B, and I know that they had a really nice win and a great match against Grand Island the other night. That's a team that I think was not really on anyone's radar, to be quite honest, and I believe they're up to about 9-7 now. And they're having a great season.
Who will be in their district, Burke? Do you know?
You know what? It is. I can actually find out for you in a second, but I want to.
The thing
I'm
with
not sure
Columbus
who
is
they
they've
normally
played.
are.
The thing with Columbus, I would say, is they played an A schedule basically. You know what I mean? And so that Katie Briggs is a nice player for them. I think she's a nice talent, and Ellie McMeekin, I think probably their two best players. I guess I would say Rachel Klatt had a nice game for them last night against Grand Island as well. That was a fun one at 18-16 in the fifth set. So they beat Grand Island, and they beat Grand Island twice now. So.
Yeah, and it's just they've done an incredible job. And in their district is actually Bennington, Blair, and Schuyler. And so, with all due respect, that's a district that Columbus should win.
Mm-hmm.
There shouldn't be any issues with that. And then, of course, Class B in volleyball now has the sub-state round. So what that would do is, as a district champion, would guarantee them into the round of 16 that would be based on their, or seeded based on their wild cards points. And playing that class, a lot of Class A teams is going to help them with that because they're going to be getting bonus points, and their seeding should be pretty high. And, of course, if you can have a home match in that sub-state round, that's huge. And right now it looks like they'd be sitting at about number 12 in wild card points. So, if they can kind of keep moving up the list, score a few more wins like that one over Grand Island, I think that they've got to feel pretty good about their shot to do something, maybe wind up down in Lincoln.
Burke, by this point in the season, coaches more or less know what they've got. They've probably settled into a rotation by now. Who's gonna come in and fill some different spots? So, barring injuries, what are these coaches, especially on the volleyball side, obviously, focusing the most on as they go into practices and then their games?
Yeah, right now, and I think you're starting to see a little bit of it is, as you said, coaches are going to tweak with some lineups, try some different things. And now they're really looking for what's going to make everything run smoothly, so they can get that refined and working perfectly as we get ready for the postseason in just 4 or 5 weeks. So I think you're seeing teams playing other teams now in the conference play maybe for a second time because of different tournaments and whatnot, and so they're trying to kind of figure out what works best against teams that they feel like they might see come district or postseason time. And, for other teams, this might be a time where they're making a transition and getting some of the younger kids a little bit more experience as well. I think you see that a lot in the high school ranks in all different sports, is obviously the older kids kind of get the first crack at things, but, this is about the time where some of the younger kids might be able to step up, and we're seeing that a little bit at Omaha Marion, the number one team in the state. Has kind of unleashed one of their freshman outside hitters, Emily Bressman, on people now. And so it's a fun time of year because everybody's making adjustments, and it's a constant chess match. When North Platte came out here and played Marion last week, they hadn't seen Marion's freshmen, and Marion did a few different things with their middles that kind of threw North Platte off. And so now it'll be interesting to see. They should play each other again next weekend. What adjustments North Platte will make when they play Marion again. So it's constant adjustments, and trying to always stay one step ahead.
Before we get into Tony's questions for Burke, we want to remind everyone that if you are following along, or you had been following along on Twitter before the show, Burke is giving away 3 brand new. I don't know if he's washed them or not at this point, but brand new NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com T-shirts. If you are using the hashtag PrepHuddleLive, tweet at us and use that hashtag and get your question into Burke. We'll answer that here before Burke has his time go away with us. But remember to do that because there's some T-shirts on the line for it. So now we're going to turn it back over to Tony and to Burke. We got some rapid-fire questions. Some of these kind of, to a certain extent, kind of play back into some preseason questions as well. So maybe they'll be interested to see if some of these questions and the answers especially become different at the midseason point. Tony?
All right, Burke, you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, here we go. Best tournament coming up this weekend: Grand Island Northwest, Aurora, or the Allison Weston Invitational hosted by, I believe, Papillion La Vista. Your call there, or you can throw another one in if you want to.
But you know what? I'll say right now, I like the Grand Island Northwest. There's tons of great tournaments. Grand Island Northwest I liked because it is round robin, and you've got Northwest, you've got Omaha's got the number 1 and 2 teams in Class B, as far as how I have them rated, and then Columbus SCOTUS is in there as well. So if you just watch that tournament all day, you're going to get to see Northwest against Scott, Northwest against SCOTUS, SCOTUS against Scott. Great volleyball there. The other one that's really going to be interesting is at Lincoln Pius, because you've got Kearney Catholic coming in there. And right now, Kearney Catholic's got the longest winning streak, active winning streak in the state at 19 matches. And they're going up against some of the best in Class B, the Elkhorn South, Norris, those teams. So that could be real interesting. And I'm a huge fan of when smaller schools step up to the plate and play some of these bigger schools. I just love to see how that turns out. So both of those are going to be great tournaments.
Yeah. How about a player that has surprised you the most this year that maybe has come on that you weren't expecting in any class, really?
I would say Kylie Broach at Grand Island Northwest. I don't know if I want to say that she's, a huge surprise in the sense that she's obviously a phenomenal player. But I think just having seen her more now this year and just watching her against some really great competition, including, by the way, on Strive TV last night against Aurora. I was able to catch the last little bit of that.
Thank you.
She is just, such an important cog that helps make that go. It's so versatile. She's just really impressed me this year. I mean, that's, kid that's just kind of come off the radar. And I would say maybe Emily Lenners down at Freeman. She actually just signed with or committed to Hastings College. She sat behind Carly Remmers at Freeman last year, and this year she's really had to step up, and she's been huge for Freeman as well.
Excellent. Okay, how about this one? The best Strive school surprise. I'm going to throw North Bend out there at you. They're ranked 9th in C1. According to the World Herald yesterday, they beat C2 number 1 Wisner Pilger last week. I threw in Brooding Davenport Shickley as an option with a new coach, and they're off to a flying start. Or maybe you might throw an other Strive school in there, maybe a Johnson Brock or something like that. But which of our teams maybe has surprised you or maybe done something you weren't expecting from them this year?
I'm going to go North Bend. I think you're exactly right. I mean, I think that's a team that has always done pretty well. They generally, however, get sucked into a terrible sub-district with with Columbus SCOTUS, Columbus Lakeview. There isn't that sub-district, which makes it really hard for them. But they're incredible. You said they're 10-3. They've got Kristen Lux. That's a really nice player. Kristen and Allison Lux, actually both some sisters who are really good players for them. I think they've definitely been the biggest surprise. And I would also, not that you would expect them to not be good, but I think the job that Lois Hickson has done with Aurora this year and some of the kids that they've got that have stepped up, they've lost a lot of talent over the last couple of years to D1 schools. And they keep on trucking, and they're doing great. I mean, they were certainly a top 10 team coming into this year, but they've had some other kids step up to go with Kylie Hickson out there and are just doing a tremendous job.
Burke, I want to piggyback on one question real quick that we asked you, I know, in the preseason. And the question at the time was, what is the best one-day, all-day tournament to go and watch quality volleyball? And you had said the CRC tournament at the York Auditorium. So knowing that one hasn't quite come up just yet, what's been the one tournament, if you will, that you have seen or heard a lot about that you go, that was probably the one to be at if I wasn't there?
Gothenburg has gotten off a tournament, and this year was the first year that they did it, which really featured some of the top teams from Central and Western Nebraska going out and taking each other on, kind of a 2-day overnight tournament that I know has been in the works for a while. And that had I'm gonna miss a few teams, but I mean that had Shadron, Minden, Kearney Catholic, St. Paul. Just Ogallala was in there. So just some of the great traditional powers of Central and Western Nebraska all coming together. And again, it wasn't so much a bracket tournament as it was more round robin style. So everybody got to play everybody. And the fact that I'm in Omaha, I can tell you that Omaha Lincoln people just don't maybe quite have a full appreciation for the level of volleyball and quality of volleyball that gets played out, from Grand Island, Kearney, West, and it's phenomenal. And I think Gothenburg has started something pretty special out there with that tournament, and that would have been a fun one to be at, but I just was not.
Well, next time, right? That's why we say that.
Next time, I tell you what, writing off that mileage would be nice.
Yes, it would be. It would be great, would it not? That's Burke Brown.
Yes.
Burke Brown with the NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com. Check out that website. Just an incredible amount of information for high school volleyball in the state. Burke, thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Truck Center Company's hotline.
It's my pleasure. Take care, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Burke. We'll have to extend that T-shirt giveaway throughout the season, right?
That's absolutely right. I will find a way to get rid of them, even if I have to turn them into bro tanks. I'll find somebody to take them.
Oh,
done deal.
You're on. You're on, Burke. Thanks a lot, man.
I see you guys.
All right, Tony and I are going to revisit last week now, some great games and great performances from across the state. It is time for Strive Stars. Tony, who shined brightest last week for us?
Well, we're going to try to hit all the sports here, Eric. The only sport I have missed is girls golf. So if somebody in the next 2 minutes can shine me a girls golfer who had a big performance last week, we'll plug their name in. So here we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, we'll start in Aurora with Jonna Bart. Jonna, talented senior. You had Coach Sigler on the Locker Room podcast on Tuesday, and Jonna lived up to the hype she got on that. She won the Grand Island Invitational yesterday. She had a time of 19 minutes, 57.82 seconds to beat Jessie Ixta, who's a top Class A runner from Omaha South. So Jonna Bart Aurora is our first Strive Star. We'll move into volleyball. 2 big matches on our channel last night, and we'll recognize some players from those. First, we'll go to Hampton and recognize Madison Vanhausen. She led Hampton to a sweep over Heartland last night with 16 kills, 2 blocks, and 4 ace serves. The D2 6th-ranked Hawks topped 4th-ranked team in D1, Heartland. That was a great match over there. And then we stay here in Grand Island and go to Northwest High School as Northwest played Aurora for the second time this year. They'll probably play at least one more time, maybe 2 more times with district play coming up. But in that battle, Kelsey Plocky had 17 kills and 4 blocks for Coach Diane Rose. They won in 4 sets, and they're 8th in the all-class rankings. They moved to 8-1 on the season. And as Burke mentioned, they'll host their home invite this weekend with traditional powers Columbus SCOTUS and Omaha Scott playing in that tournament. There'll also be Hastings and Lexington in that tournament. So 5 teams, and each team will play every other team. So 4 games for each team on Saturday at Grand Island Northwest. And I believe all of the games in their new gym are going to be streamed. So Taylor might be able to double check that, but at least I think the Northwest games will be streamed on Saturday. We go to York, and we had York coach Danielle Sievers on last week, and she couldn't quite give up the name of her star pitcher. Well, it's her daughter, Carly. Carly has not given up a run since September 14th, and the Duke offense has been equally productive. They've scored 55 runs over that time frame, and I believe that's their last 7 wins. And over the weekend, York won the Hastings Invitational, and that was wins over Holdridge and Lincoln Pius and Hastings High in the finals. Let's go to football now. We'll go to BDS first for Riley Techmeyer and Kale Kleinschmidt, the backfield duo. They were each involved in 4 touchdowns as BDS, who was ranked 4th in D1, beat High Plains, who is ranked 10th, 40-26. High Plains had a 26-20 lead heading to the 4th quarter, but BDS pulled through. Techmeyer threw touchdown passes of 35, 43, and 10 yards, and he ran in a 10-yard 37-yarder as well. And Kleinschmidt had the 2 long scores of 35 and 43, and he also then rushed for touchdowns of 2 and 7 yards. This must have been a really good one. The Storm, even at 1-2, are still ranked 10th in D1. They've played 3 ranked teams to start their season and got an early win over Blue Hill. We'll go to Stromsburg for Aaron Janau and Tanner Lamoury. Aaron Janau, we met him last May. He's the Class C 400-meter champion. He had 10 carries for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns of 55 and 59 yards as Cross County beat Friend 32-6 last week. Lamoury added 108 yards on 22 carries, and he had a 35-yard touchdown run. The Cougars, who are young, they're loaded with juniors, which Aaron and Tanner are both juniors. They're off to a 3-1 start, and they'll have a big game next week against High Plains, who we just mentioned. We'll go to our game of the week in Shelby, where Sutton's Garrett Leach had 260 yards on 24 carries in the Mustangs' 48-9 win. I believe that gets Mr. Leach, who's also a junior, up to 770 yards on the season through 4 games as the Mustangs ready for their big district stretch, which will include games against top-ranked Hastings St. Cecilia and 5th-ranked Doniphan Trumbull for the 3rd-ranked Mustangs. And then last but not least, we go to Fairbury for junior Jacob Johnson. Jacob had, if you're sitting down, 7 touchdowns on 19 carries. He ran for 335 yards in Fairbury's 54-23 win over Johnson County Central. Those 7 touchdown runs tied a Class C1 record. They covered 5, 8, 1, 35, 47, 53, and 37 yards on this on the game. Johnson is up over 800 yards already in 4 games after having 721 yards as a freshman last year. So it's just a sophomore in Fairbury. The Jeffs are 3-1, and they have a big game that we'll talk about coming up here later in the show. So those are our Strive Stars, a fast look at some great performers at our Strive schools over the past week, Eric.
And boy, was there some fun ones to talk about. I know Jacob Johnson's game for Fairbury Friday night on the Twitter sphere blew up there Friday night. A lot of people knew about that right away after the game happened. And, you and I had talked earlier today, Carly Sievers. We had to mention her because Mom Danielle and head coach wouldn't mention her last week. But, yeah, she's been really, really good for the York Dukes, so a couple extra shout-outs there. Big thank you to Cornerstone Bank, Dickey's Barbecue in York, Truck Center Companies, and Channel Seed for sponsoring our show. We call it Prep Huddle Live, and we're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we will talk with the head football coach at Grand Island Northwest, Kevin Stein, about his Vikings, their 3-1 start, and rowing the boat. That is next on Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
I never really imagined that I would be a diesel technician. I started out in a whole different other field and then kind of worked my way and stumbled my way into it, and I enjoy every day of it.
The people that I work with are great. Even if you're having a bad day, they find some way to try to make you laugh or smile to try to brighten your day up. It'd be a life-changing opportunity. So there's a lot of good things that this company has to offer.
Seedsmanship is what truly sets Channel Seed apart from other seed brands. It's our unmatched ability to provide you with the expert advice and customized service that helps you get the most yield out of your acres. It's the added value of year-round service combined with elite seed products that you only get from Channel Seed. At Channel, we know the importance of staying connected. As seed experts, we look to get the most out of your fields by putting ourselves in them throughout the season. That's seedsmanship at work. Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a homestyle side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
Hear my kids pounding on the floor?
Prep Huddle Live. Yes, we can, Tony. Prep Huddle Live is on strivesports.com. Thanks for joining us.
That was a bad job by me. Sorry, Tony.
That was
walked you right into that one. We're live.
We're live. Yeah.
Hey, it's way more fun this way, fellas. If you ask me,
I think
it's not like we're professional at this.
Well, we were trying to be until this, and now we've just thrown that out the window. We are minutes away from finding out where our game of the week will be this week. We could not get much farther into the season, however, without talking with Grand Island Northwest football coach Kevin Stein. I had a chance to catch up with him earlier today and get his thoughts on the start of the season for the Vikings and how to row the boat. Check it out. Joining us on the Truck Center Company's hotline now on Prep Huddle Live is Grand Island Northwest coach Kevin Stein. Coach, thanks for taking some time here on your Wednesday.
You bet. Love to help out Strive.
Overall on your season, 3-1 is the record as it stands. Wins over Adams Central, Alliance, and Gering, that big bus trip last week. A loss to McCook at McCook in week 2. Kind of give us your overall thoughts on the season so far.
It's a nice start to have. Adams Central came in, did some different things against us, and that we weren't really prepared for. So that was nice, a nice challenge. But we were able to get over that hurdle. McCook was a physical game, and it was good for our squad to really get challenged like that. And I thought we handled some situations pretty good, but some that really brought to light some areas that we need to work on. And then Alliance, we were able to jump out on them, and that was good for us to be able to do that. And then Gering was, I would say, more of a struggle, just emotionally trying to get ourselves up and going for that. So it was a nice way to start the season out.
I know we were kind of following along with you guys on Twitter on your bus ride out there. There was a stop for some pizza and skipping rocks on the river, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. We always thought about, Valentino's over in Ogallala always takes care of us. They do a real good job of having a nice spread for us at a good price, and so we always love to stop there. And then, we had like this, 45 minutes or so to kill, and I was like, well, what do we do? And, you can't really drive to Chimney Rock and just look at it, so we're like, let's go down the river here. So we just went down to the river and had a rock skipping contest and took some neat pictures. So it was fun for our guys just to be able to bond like that.
Now, like you said, 3-1 is a good place to be, obviously, and it's a familiar situation from a year ago. But mentally, how different is this team compared to last year's team, who was also sitting here at 3-1?
Yeah, you're exactly right. The best thing about it is that we were in that situation, and our guys have brought it to light that says, hey, we have to really button up the ship now and not let any of those, any tough games get away from us. That's where we just really struggle on finishing stuff. So it's been a real focus for our guys, and they have brought it out to light. So hopefully we can use it as a positive to get ourselves ready, but not beat ourselves up with it and just really cause this, the angst or the pressure, to take care of those little things.
Your offense so far this year has obviously made a ton of plays. You're averaging 261 yards passing, 167 yards rushing. Your quarterback, Christian Ellsworth, gets a lot of headlines, and deservedly so. But your offense is certainly not a one-trick pony. Talk about some of those guys.
Yeah, I think Christian's, throwing average, his yardage went down, I believe, 30 to 35 yards just from last week, because he only threw for 120 yards, which is, we usually do that in a quarter or a half, pretty darn easy. But, we ran for 336 yards. That was real nice, for us to be able to do. Christian, everything he gets, he's worked for. He works extremely hard. He's He's self-driven. He's a team guy. He's a leader. He's our vocal leader. He's our spiritual leader. And he does a lot for us, and we're thankful to have him on our team, and that's great. But I think we've completed. He's completed 15 different receivers. Have caught balls. So that's good. We primarily have two running backs that really get going. Austin Cooper and Ryan Gill. They've both been. Ryan, we knew we had. Austin was a nice shot in the arm for us, and has really come through and done some things. So I think we have a lot of different weapons. And then when you talk offensively, we truly play 11 different linemen all the way through the game. Yeah, we have 5 starters, but we play 11 different 11 different kids in different combinations, equally throughout the game.
Then on defense as well, you've been pretty solid throughout the year. Who are some of the guys on that side of the ball that continue to step up for you?
I think it obviously starts on the inside. We got a couple of nice D tackles and Mark Zapita and Dylan Davis and Austin Dobbins coming along for us. But our mental and our physical leaders come from our inside linebackers, kind of taller, lankier guys. You have Taylor Gann, Isaiah Dobbs coming off the edge with Brooke Brown. Brooke, moved from a linebacker to a safety. Got through the jamboree and our camps and really tried to kind of find his way and find what to do. But he's really stuck with it, and he has just been tremendous for us off the edge. He does some things athletically that we can't coach. That just that running, the length that he has, being 6'5", has been just tremendous for us. And then on the back end, defensively, Bryce Williams is kind of our mainstay. He's our free safety, does a nice job of getting our pass coverage set. But off the edge, a couple, guys, Ryan Gill and Tanner Lehrman play a little reckless for us at outside linebacker, and those two have really fed off each other as well.
Coach, you're now squarely in the middle and the meat of the schedule, and Scottsbluff comes to town on Friday night. What's the scouting report on the Bearcats?
Good, and gooder. We kind of knew this. We kind of knew going into the season that we were going to be okay. At worst, we really felt confident. At worst end, we're 3-1. Hopefully be a 4-0, and so we're okay with that. And we kind of felt that as kind of our preseason, and so now that Scottsbluff comes, they come with a different offense that's just extremely different from what you see. That ground and pound, a lot of bodies right at you. Very big, physical. That ground and pound, but just big play potential. So, Coach Benson has got them, playing extremely well offensively, and then defensively, we don't see a lot of man-to-man. It's really kind of a different for us. So, pass-wise, we've got to make some adjustments, to go, against their man-free defense.
And before we let you go here, I want you to kind of talk a little bit about row the boat. I know it's something that you guys kind of have as a mantra that some people have taken a look at, and I've done a little reading on it, but kind of take us through how you came to be with Row the Boat.
Last year during bowl season, I saw Western Michigan and their coach P.J. Fleck, and they talked about it. And then I started piecing things together, and I started kind of looking at probably just like you did and watching videos. And I got a hold of them. I got a hold of their strength coach. We talked about different things and different things they do. And then actually one of my daughter's friends is a Marine recruiter here, and I started talking to him and this and that. And so he started coming out in the summer on every Thursday and doing, Marine type drills with us and more team oriented stuff. And we had to really work together. And so with Row the Boat mantra basically means we all have to row at the same speed, the same power, in the same direction. And there are certain guys that need to have their oars in the water and just rowing as fast as they can. There has to be somebody or a group of people tell them the direction to go. And you got to be able to trust that direction. And then a lot of it is when you're rowing a boat, your back is to the direction you want to go. So you have to trust. You don't know what's coming on in the future. You don't see what's ahead of you because your back is to it. So you got to trust your leadership, and you all got to be in there. If we are rowing a boat and one or two people decides not to row or even row backwards, that's the equivalency of a guy becoming a cancer in the locker room or not putting out in every drill that we do. That's the same thing. Then we're going to get to our goal, but we're going to get there a lot harder, and it's going to take us a lot longer than if we have everybody rowing together. And there's sometimes the wind's blowing behind you, and it's blowing you, to where you want to go, but you still have to row because you still need that direction. Sometimes the wind's blowing in your face, and you have to row harder. That's when things are going good. The Lions game, the Gary game is going good. You have to keep rowing. When things aren't going good, like you have to McCook and like what's going to happen with Scotts Bluff, you got to row. And there's nothing you can do but keep rowing. And then we try to take it into life lessons. That's the way life is. That's the way work is. You got to go to a new job. You got to have, marriages are that way. Kids are that, we have kids that are that way. So we're trying to teach them life lessons that you have to keep rowing. You're going to do good things. You're going to do bad things, but no matter what, you got to row the boat.
Life lessons from your first nursery rhyme. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the Truck Center Company's hotline. Best of luck Friday night.
All right. Hey, thanks for having us, Eric.
And again, a huge thank you to Coach Kevin Stein of the Grand Island Northwest Vikings. They will be taking on Scotts Bluff coming up on Friday night. And now we can go to our Channel Seed Game of the Week. In particular, we can go back to last week. We were in Shelby for the Shelby Rising City Huskies as they hosted third-ranked Sutton last week. We'll check out the highlights next. Our Channel Seed Game of the Week here in Shelby. It's a kick off to the side, and it is fielded from the 25 to the 30 and out to the 34-yard line, a 9-yard kickoff return there. And the Mustangs are probably coming off the edge here. So Hotzen under center. Handoff right at the line, and I don't think he made it. Boy, just sitting in the hole that time was the linebacker for Sutton, Tristan Sheridan, and Kuhnel did not make it to the end zone at about the 7. Sheridan, the fullback, pops it right side, and he walks into the end zone. Touchdown. And they will give it to Leach, deep man in an I formation. He's got blocks, and he's got an open field. It's going to be a foot race, and Garrett Leach is down the far sideline at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Mustangs. And they want to throw it, and Schultz is open. He needs a block. Slips off the first two. He's got a first down, and this is a fourth down conversion out to midfield. A pickup of 21 yards on 4th and 6. Coffin in the slot to the right. Looking left is Hotzen. Now he steps up, got pressure, fires it right. It is caught. This is Schultz diving forward. He's got the touchdown. The first half of play sees Sutton ranked number 3 and undefeated in Class C2, leading by just 8 points over the 1 and 2 Shelby Rising City Huskies. All right, folks, we are back here at halftime. Sutton Mustangs leading the Shelby Rising City Huskies 14-6. And Corey Verbka is up here with Channel Seed, and Channel Seed, of course, has been our title sponsor of our Game of the Weeks, and I know it's been kind of a little bit more of a corporate thing, but I guess on behalf of Strive, we got to say thank you first, Corey, for Channel to do what you guys did for us for this year to kind of make these possible.
No, thank you. It's awesome that you guys could come out and let people watch this game that can't make it to the game, for one thing. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, watching at home on TV or on the computer.
And mobile device, too, has it teed up, and we are just about ready to go in our Channel Seed Game of the Week here in Shelby. It's a kick off to the side, and it is fielded from the 25 to the 30 and out to the 34-yard line. Hey, the power of live TV, right? Even on the highlights, we'll work on that. And don't forget to check out our recording of the game and of the show here tonight with Prep Huddle Live. That'll be up on the website coming up tomorrow. In the meantime, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we will talk with St. Ed football coach Jeremy Jones to get his thoughts as the Beavers get ready to play host to the number 1 team in the 6-man ranks, Riverside. That is coming up on Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com. Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to Dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.
I love it. It's fun. It's a fun industry to be in. Meet lots of different people, do lots of different stuff. There's always something new happening, so.
So far, I've been enjoying it since I've been here. It's been great, learning new stuff every day. I recommend anyone come in and work here because so far the working environment's friendly, everyone's kind, and also the new guys that come here, they will gain the confidence that they need just to come and work.
I like how everybody around here is, we all kind of become real good friends. It's like a second family here. It's not something you would come to just work for a month or two. It's something you'll want to stick with forever.
Seedsmanship is what truly sets Channel Seed apart from other seed brands. It's our unmatched ability to provide you with the expert advice and customized service that helps you get the most yield out of your acres. It's the added value of year-round service combined with elite seed products that you only get from Channel Seed. At Channel, we know the importance of staying connected. As seed experts, we look to get the most out of your fields by putting ourselves in them throughout the season. That's seedsmanship at work.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
We are into the home stretch of Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com. So far, we've talked volleyball with Burke Brown of NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com. We've had a variety of Strive stars, a little football, so why not a little more football? We are joined on the Truck Center Company's hotline by St. Ed head coach Jeremy Jones, who's getting his team ready for a 1 versus 2 matchup in the 6-man ranks on Friday night when the Beavers host the Riverside Chargers. Coach, thanks a lot for taking some time with us on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
It's obviously been a great start for your team this year. Talk about your team and how the guys have played overall so far this year.
Real excited about how the season started off. We had a real tough draw, playing 3 of the best teams from out west, and we come out well. We are blessed to have a lot of upperclassmen this year, which is kind of new for us lately. 9 upperclassmen, so our leadership has been real good. And I got an offensive line full of seniors that have been doing the same thing for 4 years, so it makes it kind of easy for a coach when you can go out there and the guys kind of know what to expect.
Coach, 6-man games, usually a little up and down, helter-skelter. Some people, I like to call it basketball on grass sometimes, but you guys are maybe a little bit different. I'm looking at your stats right now, so if Max Preps is wrong, tell me, but you've completed 1 pass in 3 games, and you've run for almost 1,300 yards. Can you talk about your rushing attack and specifically your junior back, Keenan Rasmussen, who leads you guys in rushing? Actually, he does he? It's Olson, actually, Braden Olson. I guess it looks like they both have about the same amount of yards. So,
yeah, Braden took the lead this week. He had a 216 this week, so he kind of jumped ahead. But no, we call our backs the triplets. We have Braden and Keenan and Brandon Miller. He's a senior, and we just rotate those guys through, and they just take turns going in. But no, we last year, early in the year, I think I thought I was some sort of Chip Kelly disciple. We tried to spread it out and throw the ball a lot, and started out 0-4. And in fact, it was after last year's Riverside game where I kind of looked at what we do and our personnel and thought maybe we needed to keep it a little more simple. So it was after that game we kind of went with the remember the Titans Herman Boone approach, just 6 plays, like Novocaine, give it time, it's going to work.
I love it.
And that's kind of what we've been doing now. Honestly, this year we've probably ran about 6 plays so far. And the guys, they take a lot of pride in being physical. That's something we've talked about all year long, is being physical. And they've really taken it to heart, and they've lived that in the weight room. They lived that in the off-season training, and they've been living that on Friday afternoons, Friday nights.
Coach, there is probably plenty of people, and I got to admit, I'm probably one of them, who might not completely understand some of the uniqueness of the rules of six-man football. If you could, real quick, could you give us kind of a football 101 six-man edition?
Yeah, not a whole lot different. First and 15, which when you're a running team like us, makes it really important to stay on schedule. The quarterback can't run the ball. Whoever takes the snap has to hand the ball off before he can cross the line of scrimmage and look at the pass. So that leads to a lot of the different kind of formations. This week when we play Riverside, we'll see a lot of pitchbacks and a lot of different kind of the basketball and grass kind of stuff you talked about. One of the big ones and something that we've been probably our weak point so far in this year is extra points. If you kick the extra point in, it's worth 2 points, and if you go for what we used to call go for 2, it's only worth 1 point. So this past week, we actually installed a drop kick. Our quarterback, Jonah Misek, has been working on it, and so we started drop kicking. So something you probably don't see a lot in the high school level.
So you eliminate the holder with that play then, am I correct there, for a little more protection?
Yeah, we spread a couple guys out, and we just snap it back and hope it I think we made 1 out of 3 last week, but we also, I think, had 6 one-point conversions off of it where he just rolled out and hit an open guy.
Sure. Coach, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but you started 0-4 last year, and again, you mentioned the tough draw, then 1-3, ended up going 3-5, it looks like. Can you just talk about maybe what the biggest turnaround has been? Has it just been kind of committing to that run game or getting more experience? What has been the big difference for your team from last year to this year?
A lot of it was maturity. We only had 2 seniors last year. Last year, our backfield was 3 sophomores that were all about 145 pounds. And that makes it pretty tough when you're playing varsity ball. But this summer, the guys that run our weight room, Darren Luby and Donnie Baker, did a great job with them, and the backs all gained about 25 pounds of muscle in the off season. And there's been a big jump. Now it's a lot harder to bring those guys down. They're breaking arm tackles. And I think the fact that they bought in, the fact that we changed our philosophy to more of a physical attack, I think that's made a big difference.
Coach, a big challenge, obviously, coming up on Friday night. Riverside is beating their opponents by an average score of 70-10. They're the defending champs. They have half their starters back, or actually more than that, but half of them are all-staters from last year. How do you convince your guys that they put their pants on one leg at a time and you can play with this team?
Yeah, Coach Imus has put together a real great team over there. They got a lot of talent. If you go down, and honestly, if you go down one by one with the All-State and all that, they probably have us on that side. But we're just approaching it like it's any other game. We talk every week about wanting to go 1-0, and that's what we talked about this week. I mean, Cedar Rapids is 13 miles away, so obviously that makes it even a little bit of a bigger game. But we've been trying to downplay it in our locker room. The guys know. I mean, last year I think we were down by 6 with about a minute and a half left to go before halftime with them. I think they scored 18 points in the last minute and a half, and then I think they ended up beating us. I don't know. I think it was 40. And like I said, that was a big turnaround, and that's been something that has helped drive us this off season, was to come back and finish those kind of games where we had the chance and we let it slip away. Let that experience help us out.
Coach, I want to ask you real quick about, you mentioned the fact that Cedar Rapids and St. Edward are only 13 miles apart, and it seems like with school consolidations and co-ops, as it has been with enrollment numbers, especially in the western part of the state as it's been over the last number of years, the distance traveled to go play any game, let alone six-man football, where there's not a lot of schools that play six-man to begin with. How different is it to suddenly have a Friday night where you're actually playing Friday night and you know you're going to be home before midnight?
Yeah, it's real nice to have a Friday night game. We actually got 3 Friday night games this year, which is kind of rare. And this year the travel. Last year we started out our first 2 games We went to Hyannis and Cody Kilgore, which is round trip 900 miles.
Oh boy.
So last week we had the trip to Arthur County, which was 8 hours round trip, and we don't have the fancy charter buses that a lot of those schools out west have. We take the old yellow bus and get on the road and go. So I think that's one of the things that I love about Fixed Man. It's kind of a unique experience. You go out last week we played in the Mountain Time Zone, and there's not a lot of teams from our area that have to worry about adjusting the clock when you go out to play a game.
Well,
Awesome
Coach, we want to say thank you very much for joining us on the Truck Center Company hotline, and best of luck to you and the Beavers coming up Friday night.
Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
That was it. That was Taylor's big drop. Taylor got a new microphone stand tonight, so he's been trying to test it out. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. With that, I think we are finally ready to announce our Channel Seed Game of the Week. For those of you that were following along on Facebook and on Twitter this week, you know that we put our Game of the Week in your hands. We put it to a vote on the social media, specifically on Facebook, created the 2 separate Game of the Week graphics. JC does a fantastic job creating those. The 2 game options that we gave you, and yeah, there could have been a lot more. One of them probably would have been St. Ed and Riverside, but there's a lot of really good, top-quality games this week. We kind of, on our own admission, narrowed it down to 2 and then let you vote. So our voting this week consisted of the options of Scottsbluff at Grand Island Northwest or Gothenburg at Cozad, a huge rivalry in the western part of the state. All total, we had, I believe it was over 600 clicks on the graphics themselves, on the pictures. We had over 100 shares on Facebook. Thank you. That was kind of proves to us with Strive, we do so much on social media anyway, helping schools share their stories, and figured, this would be a great way to kind of get multiple schools sharing essentially the same thing to see what would happen, and it just blew us away. So thank you for all of those that voted. But we do have a winner. We close the voting at 7 o'clock tonight, right at the top of the show, and when it's all said and done, it is the Class B matchup of Scottsbluff at Grand Island Northwest. Both teams are 3-1 on their season. Scottsbluff, the 7th-ranked team in Class B. And we're going to take kind of a little comment here before we go into the Strive 5. But, Tony, obviously some great Facebook and Twitter feeds going on here, and Taylor has something as well. But to have all of the fan bases participate the way they did was outstanding here this week.
Yeah,
whoever wants to say something.
Hey,
there.
yeah.
Who's going?
Go, Taylor.
I just want to say a quick thank you to the staff members at Cozad and Grand Island Northwest that I had emailed last week about this idea that we had. And that is Heather Callahan at Grand Island Northwest and Patty Wolf. They are their technology integration specialists, and they run their social media at their schools. And so they did probably way more than what I expected them to do. They were calling people out with, "Hey, don't like this post, like the Strive Sports post."
Yeah,
they were getting mad about it, and so it was a lot of fun. And those two are best friends, and so it was a lot of fun to see them battle it out. 2 great communities. I think I'm going to try to maybe even go up to the Cozad game since the Northwest game is a little bit earlier. But congrats to Northwest. And it was fun to see Gothenburg and Scottsbluff got in action too. So nice little experiment, and we couldn't thank you guys enough. Boosted our awareness to people that hadn't heard about us. So thank you guys.
I have a feeling, and I don't think I'm too far out of line here saying that there will probably something similar to that lines that will happen again, whether it's a game of the week or perhaps a basketball thing. But that's definitely something we can talk about. But Tony, just a real quick thought, and then we'll go into the Strive 5. Number 7 Scottsbluff, they're 3-1. Grand Island Northwest also 3-1. Both teams only lost so far this year to McCook, and oh, by the way, McCook has a really good game this week as well. So we're looking for a good matchup there in Grand Island on Friday.
Yeah, Scottsbluff lost to McCook 20-14 the week after Northwest. I believe that was a 38-16 game, I'm thinking, for Northwest and McCook. This will be one. If you talked to Kevin Stein, and I apologize, Eric, that I didn't hear the interview, but this was a game last year that went 45-42 for Scottsbluff out in Scottsbluff. We talked a lot about Northwest earlier this year, losing their last 5 games by a combined 25 points. This was the first one. They got off to that 3-1 start last year. Scottsbluff beat them 45-42, and they really couldn't right the ship. They actually were going in to score inside of the last couple minutes and had a screenplay that went down near the goal line. They got called for a clip, and then they weren't able to obviously get the ball in the end zone to win that game. So I got a feeling this one's going to be really, really fun, and it's going to go all 4 quarters. We probably won't run the clock. I'd be shocked if we ran the clock on Friday night. And it's homecoming at Northwest, so I think the atmosphere will be good just up North Road from my house here. And my wife and kids will probably be happy that I'm home before 10 o'clock too with the early kickoff. We can watch all the scores come in after we're done, and this should be a fun one. I think it's 2 really good teams, 2 skilled teams. I think you're going to see 2 really good offenses going at it, and so it might be good offense and red zone defense. Can you hold the other team once they get inside the 20 when that field shrinks down? And Scottsbluff probably going to want to run it a little bit more than Grand Island Northwest, and I'm excited to see Christian Ellsworth for the first time this year as well. And I know a couple really good backs for the Bearcats as they really like to kind of run the ball at you in their offense.
Well, that was a really quick thought there, Tony. Thank you very much for that. With that, and we will talk about more of that game as we get through this week. I know.
I'm glad to know it. I took Tony's video feed off because his face is priceless right now.
It's a good one. Let's go to the Strive 5. Yogi Berra would be proud right now, right? Wouldn't he? The Strive 5. These are some.
It ain't
of
over till it's over.
Are just 5 of the games that you can watch on the respective Strive channels on the host schools page. And like we said, we picked these are just 5 because there are a lot of really, really good games. Taylor, are you ready, sir? Almost. We will let him prepare.
I'm not talking anymore.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Number 5. Gothenburg at Kozad. Not the game of the week. They are now the number 5 Strive 5 game.
Yeah, Gothenburg at Kozad, 2 kind of perennial powers, an old Southwest Conference rivalry, and really both of these teams need a win, Eric. We'll be heading right into district play right now. So Gothenburg at 2-2 is coming off a loss to Ogallala, and I believe Kozad coming off a loss to Kearney Catholic. So both teams really need to get that win because schedules are favorable moving forward to maybe try to sneak into the playoffs. Quick enough?
Number 4. Fairbury at Milford Dorchester.
Fairbury is 3-1. They've not had more than 3 wins in a regular season. I went back to 2010, and 3 is the most they've had. So this is a big one. Milford Dorchester 2-2, and this again will start district play for these teams. Fairbury could get to 4-1. I like how this district and how their schedule shapes out. This Fairbury team might be ahead of schedule in getting back to the playoffs.
Number 3. In the 8-man ranks, Clarkson Lee at number 9, Howells Dodge.
Clarkson Lee 3-0 playoff team last year that advanced to the round of 16. Howells Dodge always competitive. This one is the Highway 91 rivalry. You know how close these schools are. The 4 of them together play softball. They have a softball team called Highway 91 that's very competitive, and so these 2 schools know each other. This battle on Highway 91 will be a very, very good one in Howells.
And a quick thought, Clarkson Lee 3-0 yet not ranked. So probably looking for some pub there. And on we go. Number 2. Number 1, Riverside at number 2, St. Edward in the 6-man ranks.
I don't know if we can really say much more about this. Jeremy Jones really knocked it out of the park. This game is going to be a big one. These teams, I think, have established themselves, given the schedules they've already played, established themselves as the two teams to beat in six-man. So this could be a preview of Friday the 13th at Nebraska Kearney in the state championship game.
Not unlike what you saw with Spalding Academy and Riverside a year ago. The championship game turned out to be a rematch from the regular season. So looking forward to seeing what happens there. And to wrap up the Strive 5, number 1. It is Class B, number 6, Aurora, 4-0, at number 4, McCook, also 4-0.
Really excited to see what this Aurora offense can do against the McCook defense. I think Aurora, Eric, is maybe a little bit better than people think they are, and they'll get the chance to prove it this week at McCook. Two really good teams, two great rivals. Man, these guys have gone at it in the regular season for the last decade, and then it seems like again in November in the playoffs. Again, as I said, really excited to see what Grant Fox and new coach Kyle Peterson, his receiving targets. You got big Austin Allen at tight end, and then Todd Hannes out on the edge. Really excited to see how this game plays out and if Aurora can get the game in their favor.
Yeah, that's like you said, we got to see Aurora at the beginning of the season when they took on Crete. And very excited to see what McCook will do at home. And we've said it a couple times just how good that home field record is for McCook. I think Taylor has maybe something to say.
That game, too, before you go, Taylor, and I'll let you run. That game last year in Aurora, Taylor was there with me. I mean, that was silly good.
Yeah, it was fun.
It went down to
you can still watch the vine
end,
of that.
So it was a good one, and I expect to be another good one on Friday in McCook. On
a completely opposite note, I would like to take a poll of folks that think, and you have to use the Prep Huddle hashtag Prep Huddle Live. Do you think when Eric is saying the number, is that recorded or is he doing that live in studio? I'd like to hear everyone's feedback on that.
I can't sound like that.
And I would love to get Tony's face when you say that because I think he thinks you're an idiot for the way you do it. I wish he could see you, how you're doing it too. So trying to have some fun on it.
It's not just when he does that, Taylor.
It's holidays too, you know. Oh goodness! It is 8:30. We have come to the end of our show. Tony, do you have anything else you could possibly add to tonight's festivities?
Let me look here. I was going to look for something, and then
I thought you had one more thing you were going to pass along for us.
Well, when you
one
come
thing
to
to leave with us.
When you come to a fork in the road, take it. And if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. That's all I got.
Yogi Berra. 90 years young when he passed away today. So we are going to say goodnight from Prep Huddle Live. A replay of this show will be available on our website shortly. Big thank you again to our sponsors, Cornerstone Bank, Truck Center Companies, Channel Seed, and Dickey's Barbecue in York. Of course, all those tweets, hashtag Prep Huddle Live. Burke Brown with Nebraska High School Volleyball, or NebraskaPrepVolleyball.com, has some T-shirts he has given away if you use that hashtag. So please do. Hashtag Prep Huddle Live, and we'll get you a T-shirt from Burke. Thanks for watching here tonight to Prep Huddle Live on StriveSports.com. Have a great week, and we'll get you on Friday. Friday Night Spotlight's coming up, and the game of the week this week is Scotts Bluff at Grand Island Northwest. We'll see you at the ball fields.
Yeah, I get it. For the little things. Technology's great. It makes things easier. It's faster. We can get things done wherever we go. And we get all that from our bank. It works for us. But for the bigger things, the things that really count, I still want to talk to the people I know and trust. That's why I'm here.
I never really imagined that I would be a diesel technician. I started out in a whole different other field and then kind of worked my way and stumbled my way into it, and I enjoy every day of it.
The people that I work with are great. Even if you're having a bad day, you know, they find some way to try to make you laugh or smile, to try to brighten your day up. It'd be a life-changing opportunity. So there's a lot of good things that this company has to offer.
Seedsmanship is what truly sets Channel Seed apart from other seed brands. It's our unmatched ability to provide you with the expert advice and customized service that helps you get the most yield out of your acres. It's the added value of year-round service combined with elite seed products that you only get from Channel Seed. At Channel, we know the importance of staying connected. As seed experts, we look to get the most out of your fields by putting ourselves in them throughout the season. That's seedsmanship at work. Home-cooked favorites and online ordering so you can skip the line. That's what you'll find at Dickey's Barbecue in York. Log on to dickeys.com, select the York address, sign in, or create a profile, and you'll be ordering delicious barbecue in just seconds. Choose from a variety of meats like brisket, pulled pork, chicken breast, or sausage. Add a home-style side like waffle iron fries, fried onion tanglers, barbecue beans, and even fried okra. You won't go away hungry. Try Dickey's Barbecue today and log on to dickeys.com. Kids eat free on Sundays.